You know what time it is? It's Mondays, Emissions from the Heart with Jewel Fitzgerald. I'm back. I'm so excited only because I just returned home from a family reunion and I can't wait to get in my own bed. Love to travel, as you already know. There's nothing like being at home in your own bed. So our family reunion was fabulous. We had so much fun interacting with each other, eating, of course, and eating, and then just reminiscing and talking and laughing and just being informed and updated on things. The cool part is that we have, what do you call it, Facebook. So a lot of times you don't have to do too much updating because you get to see what's going on with us just because of Facebook. Where before, when we didn't have Facebook, social media, then we had to go, oh my gosh, I had so much to catch up on. And my father's family reunion is every year, so it's an annual thing. We've only missed 2 years, and that was because of the pandemic. So in 20 and 21, we didn't have one. So that just made these reunions even more meaningful because that first one we had in 21, right? No, the first one we had in 22. I just told you 20 and 21 was the two missed years. We all still had to wear masks because it was just still on the brink there. We wasn't quite sure. We had a lower attendance too. And then 23, the attendance went up. We didn't have to wear a mask anymore. Yay. Some few people still wear masks. Like people still wear masks now at functions and stuff like that. And this one we just had, nobody wore a mask, but we had a lot of people. That place was filled. It's probably the biggest attendance I've seen in a long time, even before the pandemic. So that was really exciting to see that. Even though there were still tons of other people that didn't come because that's just things that happen when you got to work and whatever. But going to those family reunions, that's just the best thing to do, to be going to a family reunion, hanging out with family I haven't seen, and learning about new family because there was a lot of new people that came that had never even known about it. And I got some more connections that I've made with people that were new and had never been there. And our reunion, we're approaching our 80th year. The 80th year should have already been here, but because we had 2 years off, I'm thinking the 80th year is probably next year, the 80th annual, because we missed 2 years, because otherwise it should have been this year if it wasn't last year, because our 75th was either 2019 or 2018, and I'm only forgetting that because of the pandemic. The before and after pandemic. Tell my mom, like, what year was that again? Anyway, so I had a great time. Now home. So just having these times with family and just talking, makes me always think about how are we with our families all the time. When you do a family reunion, the family reunion is with people that's from all over the country, all over, who knows if they live out of the country, because sometimes they're military, they moved, or they just live somewhere, and they're coming in. So these are not people that you see on a regular anyway, and that's why you call it a reunion, because you don't see them on a regular. But the ones you do see on your regular, like if you have parents that you live near in the area, or your kids, grandbabies, sister, brother, mother, father, on and on, the ones that are in your neighborhood, meaning in your county where you live at, that's real close to you, that you can drive to, that you can see on a regular basis. How are we with them? Because I know sometimes I find that when I travel, I see some people, family out of town more than I see the family in town, which is kind of crazy here. I'm driving, flying, whatever, to get to these out of town people, but then the ones in town where they're only 15, 20 minutes away or whatever, don't see them as much. Makes no sense, right? So I'm not, that's always an interesting dilemma. So it makes me even think about, well, how are you interacting with the people that we see on a regular, or the ones that we can see on a regular? Yeah, no, we all have jobs, we all have life things going on. That reason why we can't get together is because of all these different things that are going on in our individual worlds. So it's hard to get to them for whatever those reasons are. Even if they're as close as your mother, father, sister, brother, those kind of people that are really got your blood is the thickest. Those people that are your immediate family, not the extended ones, the immediate ones. How are we interacting with them? And what made me really think about that, besides the reunion, is that just in the last few days, some crazy stuff happened before the reunion. Two things happened before the reunion, but only learned out about one of them during the reunion. The one thing that happened, which had nothing to do with my family. A lot of you probably heard of it, and if you're from Cleveland, you definitely heard about it, because on 4th of July, one of our Cleveland, Ohio, because I'm not in Cleveland, I'm in a suburb of Cleveland. Cleveland, Ohio lost a 29-year-old police officer by someone that shot him. He is young, 27 years old, been on the force only 4 years, and his memorial service just happened to be the day I just got back. So I just happened to see that in the news that his memorial service was today, and of course it was packed. I mean, they had a memorial line from on the day he died, taking his body from the hospital to the, not necessarily the morgue, what do you call it, funeral home or wherever they was going to take his body after he was determined that he was dead. 27 years old. That's a young person, only 4 years on the force. He's missing. He had kids, he has a wife. All those people, their lives have totally been changed because daddy, brother, sister, husband is no longer there. No telling what was going on in his life before then. Granted, as a police officer and even military people, they're always in a position where they know that there's a possibility that this person's not going to come back home because of the nature of their job. But when it happens, it's still not like, oh wow, I'm ready for it. Never you're ready, because it's sudden, unexpected. Wow. So there's a giant hole in that family right now, and I don't know why it hit me so hard that day. It was 4th of July, early in the morning, 1 something in the morning when this thing happened. But when I heard about it during the day, I was like, I don't even know this man. I don't even know this family. But I prayed for them, prayed for the family. I was just hurt by the fact that somebody get killed that way. Officers get killed all the time. People get killed all the time. We see in the news all the time. And I don't know why my camera's just acting so clunky like that. But somehow it just bothered me, hurt me. So, like it was my own family member. So I'm just praying that family from some healing. I pray that they have a relationship with the Lord so that they can get through this, because it's going to take a minute, because it's sudden, unexpected, and he had young kids. So then while I was out of town on the family reunion, on the Friday, I think it was. Yeah, it had been Friday. Found out on Friday, randomly, it was a Facebook. For some reason, I was looking at Facebook on vacation. I don't even know why I was looking at Facebook, whatever I saw. Oh, and I saw a friend of mine make a post that she said something to the effect that, how can I breathe when someone that you love is no longer here? And I'm like, whoa, what is she talking about? That sounds like somebody died. Like, who is that? So I had to go to her Facebook a poll count and was scrolling through her timeline, and I'm like, still couldn't quite catch the message of what happened. So I had to send her a Facebook message to find out what happened, what's going on. And oh man, this is her 19-year-old daughter and her daughter's boyfriend of 17-year-olds was killed in a car accident. I was like, oh my gosh, on 4th of July. I said, wow, 2 situations on the same day, and on the day that we're celebrating the independence of our country, and it's supposed to be a happy family kind of day. And now these families are devastated. The police officer's family, and yeah, both sides of his family, mom and dad, and their extended people, and then the police people. I mean, it's, if he's with the Lord's, his church family, his police family, on and on. And then with her, my girlfriend, the they're devastated. The 2 families, the boys' family, the girls' family. Wow, that's a lot. And someone being that young, who takes insurance out, not that many people take insurance out on a young person, because they're going to be here for a while. Let them, when they get old enough, start making their own life insurance plan. So, who takes out insurance for young people? I mean, my husband and I, we just happen to have had insurance on our children since we were young, and that was not because of something we did, just because of the insurance man that we were working with. And he suggested that. We said, okay, we'll do that. And that's the only reason why we have it. So far, we haven't used it, thank goodness. But it's still there, still accumulating, still there, still paying on it. But that's not a normal thing, because you're not thinking about your child dying. You're thinking about getting life insurance for you, when you go, so people won't struggle in trying to bury you. So here we are. Over the weekend, I'm on a family reunion, and I'm just like cut to the heart because of the last situation, because I know the mother, I know the father. Both of them were members of the church. They're both in different cities now, different locations, because our church is all over the world, but they're not in Cleveland. And I'm like, wow, that's not a natural order to lose a child. Parents supposed to go first, not a child. So I can't even relate to that because I haven't had this situation. I never had this situation. I hope I go before my children. So, but I'm just saying, it's just the loss. And then so tragically, so it just makes me think more and more and more about why we need to have these relationships with our close in family members. Our close in family members. My camera's just loving to play games with me today. I'm not doing anything that is supposed to keep me nice and framed, but it's just for some reason want to do this wide angle. Don't ask me why, people. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to stop because it's acting up. Satan probably wants me to stop this conversation with you because I'm talking about families, and he is the main entity out there that wants us to be in discord with our families on a regular basis. Don't let him do it. God put us together with our families. Yeah, we're going to all be dysfunctional. All of us have dysfunctional families because none of us are perfect. None of us. I mean, even Jesus had issues with his children, but he was perfect. His family wasn't, because they're human, and he wasn't fully human. He's human and a deity all in one. But God gives us these families. We need to be of some kind of accord with them as much as it is our individual power to be that way with them, regardless of what they're doing to us, regardless of what they're saying to us, regardless of what, I'm just saying, it's just something. Because just thinking about this, the two teenagers that are gone, 19 and 17, and their parents that are left behind to bury these kids. And one had just graduated, the 17-year-old had just graduated from high school, and the 19-year-old had a couple more years, and they were looking forward to her graduation in college, and it just ain't happening. So what are we doing with our own families, our individual families that's immediate at home, your spouses, your children, their grandchildren, anybody that's close in your own neighborhood? Not just because a family reunion, those people are more distant. You don't get to see them on a regular basis. But the ones we see on a regular basis, how are we interacting with them? These are some of the things the Bible talks about how we should be interacting with them. Let's just look at Colossians 3:18 through 21. It said, wives, submit yourselves to your husbands. I know we hate that word, submit, but here the Bible says it, as is fitting in the Lord. So if we're, as a wife, we should be submitting to the Lord, and our husbands we should be submitting to him just like we submit to the Lord. Husbands should love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Then it says, children, obey your parents in everything, not just in some things, in everything, for this pleases the Lord. And fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. Wow, just that right there, just talking about that immediate family, mother, father, children, how they should be interacting with each other as a family. And then it goes a little bit further in 1 Timothy 5-8, where it says, anyone who does not provide for the relative, so it gets a little further here. This could be your cousins, auntie, whomever, considered a relative, especially for their own household. This is the ones that's living in your house. Because, we know how many of us have had households where it wasn't just the mother, father, sister, brother in the house. There might have been cousins, or maybe grandmas, or maybe other people living in the house, because for whatever reason, these people are all living in this family. I mean, back in the day, all generations just hung out closer and closer to the house. But we're in a world where people travel, they leave, and they don't stay home. So anyway, anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Wow. To be considered worse than an unbeliever because we're walking with God and we're treating our family like crap. Whoa, that's deep right there. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then it goes on into, and this is all over the Bible, but I just happen to pick Ephesians because it's in the Old Testament and New Testament, the same topic like 3-4 times. So Ephesians 6:2-3 says, honor your father and your mother, which is the first commandment. And it's with a promise, so that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on earth. Wow. Anytime your parents frustrate you, because I know my parents have frustrated me all during my life, and as an adult, worse so. Because as kids, okay, yeah, our parents have always frustrated us because we've always wanted to do things, as a child. But once we become an adult, there's a different level of frustration. They're like, I really am grown. Let me do my grown thing. So I always have to remember that. Because, my father does frustrate me every now and then because he's my father. That's his job, if you want to say that. So I'm just hoping I'm not being frustrating to my own children so they can honor me. So it's just something to think about that just made me laugh thinking about that. Like, oh yeah, right. Am I being a frustrating piece of work for my own two kids? But regardless of what our parents are doing to us, saying to us, not saying to us, treating us, whatever thing that kind of frustrates us, we still need to honor mother and father so that it will go well for us. So how are we doing with our families? You don't want to have any craziness going on in your family that you can prevent, that you can make better, and then something happened tragically, like you lose somebody, just like this family. I mean, I don't know nothing about what their situation was with the two children, as far as was there anything unresolved or whatever, they were angry or something, because you hear these stories and people are like, oh my God, we had an argument, and then now they're gone, so we know I can't fix that. But just hope that it's not like that. That's beside the point. Because if it's even perfect harmony, it's still going to hurt when someone's gone just like that. But if we're in more of accord with our families, because like I said, Satan wants us to tear our families apart. Don't let him do that. Because God give us these wonderful families. Let's do as much as we can if it's in our strength, our ability to do whatever it is we need to do as far as how we talk to each other, how we behave with each other, how we provide for each other, whatever it is, do that. And then there may be a situation where we need to not do certain things because we don't want to be enablers either. We want to enable people to do things that they shouldn't be doing by not saying nothing, by not being a part of, just letting them do whatever they want to do. So we need to be protecting, loving, caring for the physical families that God gives us. I mean, this applies to our spiritual ones too, but the physical ones that we see on a regular, that we can't even get out of our lives we want to because we have the same blood coursing through our veins. Don't let Satan break that apart, because that's his job, to break us all apart. So we're fighting each other, doing evil things to each other. And half the time it's for no darn reason. It's always something minor, jealousies. It's just crazy. Don't do it. Because you don't want to wake up one day and find out, wow, that sister, brother, mother, father, whatever, that I had that discord with are gone now. I can't fix it. It's done. So let us just always think about our families. Think about our families. God first, then our families. Because we don't know how long we're going to have with them. Just love upon them and be the God people that we need to be, the godly people that we need to be for God, for our families. Let God's godliness, the Holy Spirit that's just in us, all the goodness that come out, be there for our families every day of our lives, regardless. So, see you guys next week sometime. We'll talk about whatever God wants me to talk about, because, like I said, I never know what it is. So, today, it's about families. Life is short. See you next week.